This is not financial advice, it's just the wine talking.
Welcome back to It's Just a Wine. I'm your host today, and with us we have Matilda, Mel, Tal, and myself, Gassia.
Hello.
Bonjour.
So today we're talking about something a lot of us struggle with, which is how to discipline ourselves with money and spending habits. So, but before we dive in, who wants to start with their wins of the week?
I'll talk.
Again. But that's good.
Well, I mean, it's not like a win, but it's a win for me because my birthdays are the events of the year. And
Really is.
And I had my birthday party this Saturday, and it was awesome. And it was a win for me this week.
It was a win for me too because I realized that I still have it in me. And I can still party.
You're very young at heart. Like just because you have 2 kids doesn't mean you can't party. Like
I hadn't partied like that in a long time.
Good.
And it was tough on the next day, but in the moment,
great.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Back to our actual topic, which is how to stay disciplined, specifically within financial, but it kind of applies, I think, for me anyway, in every aspect of your life, because if you are disciplined in every way, then you're naturally disciplined financially as well. Mm-hmm. So I think to begin, we each have to define what discipline means to us. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is to really understand what you want. And when you know what you want, then discipline is choosing that over and over again and doing what needs to be done over and over again, even if when it's hard, especially when it's hard.
Like for me, it's not financial related, but I have struggled a lot with health wise. Like I have to work out, but I'm like not disciplined mentally like her. Like she's something. Like she works out like twice a day, or even my neighbors, she works out twice a day. It's like for me, if I go to Pilates once a week, I'm like, oof, okay, I did my workout, but I disciplined myself that every Thursday I have to go to my Pilates class, and it really, my day is just better. Mm-hmm. And it's been like almost a year. I've been doing Thursdays at 6 a.m. and every time I tell people, 7 a.m. classes, but I have to wake up at 6. It's all in the mind.
Yeah.
So honestly, like I enjoy waking up at 6 a.m. and driving, no traffic and all that. So yeah, I'm happy that I'm still
disciplined
in that route.
Because you love doing it and you want to keep doing it. So when you want to do it, you'll stay disciplined no matter what. I say the way to stay disciplined is to always remind yourself why you're doing it. Like, why do you take 2 hours of your day to study? Why do you read consistently? Why do you work out? Why do you? Because there's a reason behind it. And if you constantly remind yourself the reason behind it, you'll have no choice but to do it.
For me, it's a big investment for me, working out, to be honest. Like it's so expensive. For me, working out is an investment for me. Mm-hmm. But like every time I ask her, like, how do you study so much? It's all in the head, and it's like discipline on another level.
But I also think, like, for example, you're saying how it's been almost a year now that you go to Pilates every Thursday at 7 a.m. She has a specific schedule where she has to study because she has her exams or whatever she's doing. When you're disciplined enough for a certain amount of time, then that action or that thing that you're doing becomes part of your day-to-day, and it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And it's not so hard after a while to keep it going because it's part of your life now. It's part of your routine. It's part of, that on Thursdays at 7 a.m.
But the problem is once I don't, like if one week I take off, it's hard for me to get back in the same routine like the next week for me. I don't know about you guys, but I lose track sometimes. I'm like, oh, okay, next week.
But staying disciplined is okay. It's in a sustainable way. We will get back to that after. But even if you miss a week or two, doesn't mean you're not disciplined because you're always going back. So that's
a month later,
discipline. But it's fine. At least you're still showing up.
Because I paid for it.
But that's exactly what I wanted to say is it doesn't mean that you'll never mess up. It doesn't mean that you're not going to skip a week. It doesn't mean she's not going to skip a study session or whatever it is. Or if someone, for example, I don't know, is on this journey of, I don't know, giving up alcohol, for example, because they want to do it for health reasons or whatever it is. But then you go for a night out and you have a drink. It doesn't mean you failed. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to go out of that road that you have for yourself. What's important is to get back on.
Yeah.
And that's what discipline is.
So how are you guys with that? Like, are you guys, I mean, I know her, but like, what about you? Are you, when it comes to discipline, how are you?
I'm disciplined with my eating habits.
You know what? Because you live alone, so it's easy to like have your own.
I throw out junk food in my house. I make sure I cook healthy meals and
stay healthy.
Clean all the fruits, so my husband will just just wash and eat. Me too. But also spending wise, because in the beginning when I lived alone, it was hard. I would just buy everything like food wise and other stuff that I didn't need, but it's fine. But then I realized, I had my sister in my head, like, do you need this?
Yeah, that famous
sentence. And like, I'll be like, okay, no, I don't need it. But in the beginning, I wasn't following a list of stuff I needed. I was just buying it and then throwing it in the garbage. And
groceries, you mean?
Groceries.
I find those are bad, yeah.
So it was funny, like one time I went to Costco with my husband and then I followed the list, I'm not buying anything else.
You were one of those that had like a list and you had to like do this when you were...
I have it on my phone. I have an app on my phone. And like we came to the cash and my husband was like, wow, this is like the cheapest bill I've ever had at Costco. And the lady goes, did you do all the aisles? He goes, no, we followed my wife's list. She goes, that's why. Yeah. So that's how I discipline myself now that I live alone and I'm getting used to that. The groceries and spending habits. Now that I have like adult expensive.
You have no choice to be disciplined.
Adult, a new house.
I feel like one of the ways to stay disciplined, at least for me, is a checklist. I have a daily checklist where I have a certain number of things that I have to get done before I go to bed. And if I don't get them done, I'll feel guilty.
I downloaded the to-do list on my phone and I put like my monthly to-do list and...
Yeah, it really helps.
What's the app?
It's called I do it on a piece of paper.
Ah, you're old school.
Yeah, I am. I have an agenda. So if I don't get anything, if I don't get all of that checked off by the end of the night, I'll feel guilty. And okay, yes, sometimes, like you said, I get off track, but I get back on it. But to me, the reason why I feel guilty is because I want it bad enough that falling behind is not an option. And if I don't continue doing that checklist, I won't remind myself what I have to do. So by looking at what I have to do, I'll actually do it. Because I swear the power of writing it down, it's huge.
It holds you accountable.
Exactly.
And that's one of the biggest ways, I think. There's some tools that can keep you disciplined, and there's some things that you can do or exercises that you can do to stay disciplined. One of them is writing it down. That goes into accountability to yourself. But if you want to take it like to a deeper level, for example, if she texts you and says, I'm going to do this today, and doesn't do it, it becomes like, oh shit, I didn't actually do it. Now I have to tell her I didn't do it.
Oh.
When you go work out, but you go work out together, and I've heard you guys have this conversation. Oh, really?
You're not
gonna
come
tomorrow?
No, you're gonna come. You hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
But actually, we don't text each other anymore. We'll just show up at Thursday at 7 a.m. Like, I always expect her there.
But sometimes we do challenges together. which it makes it even easier to follow through, like she's saying.
Yeah, I always go through that.
I think the biggest accountability that us four have done is start this podcast.
Yeah.
Because we are telling the world our goals. Now they know them. So we better do them.
Yeah.
Because this is how you stay accountable. And this is what pushes you even more. It's just human nature.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's hard. Staying disciplined is really hard. We live in a world where...
Especially when you have kids as well. It's harder to stay disciplined. Right?
I look at it as... It gives me more of a reason to stay disciplined.
Oh, okay.
To do what's best for them and to set them up for success or whatever that means to whoever. But I think it keeps me accountable because now I have these two people who depend on me for everything. You know, they won't eat unless I give them food, right? So I'm accountable, which gives me even more motivation, which gives me even more willpower to do better every day to make sure that they're set.
Yeah.
But for someone that doesn't have that accountability, I feel like the desire to want something bad enough will put you in the path of having no choice to be disciplined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you want, for example, this decanter to be sold, you will stay consistent, be disciplined to put it out there and have one sold like you did. You did it. You had no choice but to go through and do it, and you did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you decide what you really want and you keep doing that over and over and over and over again, that's what it is.
I
It's
believe
what
in
you're
that.
saying.
Yeah. But it's also reminding yourself what needs to be done now for that future thing. So it's not just every week. You need to follow through every day. And if it's okay to have some step backs, but you just got to get back on track. I think that's the most important.
Like her old house, she packed everything and I kept messaging her to say like, do you need help? She goes, no, I'm fine. And in every day she had like a couple of hours, you know, scheduled that she needs to pack this time to this time. And she didn't ask for any of our helps. And I'm like, wow, you know, she's so disciplined. She's so organized. And then when I went to go help her for like just putting them in the truck, I'm like, wow, she was. I was really amazed on how organized she was and how everything was just set. But like everybody has their own.
Yeah, but to me, and this is because I know. Do you know why she did that the way she did? You're an organized person, like by nature, but it's because you're so excited to go to your house, to your new house, because you love your new house. But that's what.
But also, it's because you have no choice but to do it.
I mean,
who else is gonna do it? And this falls back on every simple principle in your life. You have to show up for yourself. You know, actually, we show up for work every single day for a company that isn't even ours. We chase that promotion. We get those deadlines. We meet the deadlines. We get whatever needs to be done every single day. But why not apply that to yourself,
your personal life,
for your health, for your body, for your mental health, for your goals, and for your freedom? It's the same thing.
Yeah,
you do it because you have no choice to do it at work. But give yourself that restriction. Do it, no choice.
It's hard in our culture because I think we're constantly being marketed to. Like, I'm talking now financially. It's very difficult to stay disciplined financially. Our Instagram feed is all ads of material stuff. We chase instant gratification whether we want it or not. Like, it's just part of who we are. So it's hard it's really easy to get off track. Yeah. And sometimes chaos is easier than control. I know this, like with my kids, sometimes it's easier to let them go wild and I just sit back than to try to control. You know what I mean? And that applies to everything. so much easier to just be like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna live day by day.
No. In my opinion, not really. Because
it doesn't require work.
I know, but to me, the feeling of not doing anything is worse than doing it actually. Whether I'm doing it tired or not.
I'm talking about like financially specifically. It's easier to live in the chaos than to... Because I've lived in both. I've lived in the chaos of not caring so much about my financials, of not thinking about the future investing. And I've lived in a controlled time financially where I'm controlling my finances. It's much easier not to control.
But in my opinion, this is agree to disagree. You know, when you were talking about how something that you really want becomes part of a habit, like it's a habit during your day, whatever. So this has become a habit for me to control. So when I get off track, for me, it's harder.
Of course, 100%.
If it doesn't feel easy to get off track.
For you, but take me as an example.
Everybody's different.
But it's not just that. If you haven't you can be disciplined in wellness and not disciplined in
100%.
Finances. For me, anyway, at some point of my life, I wasn't disciplined with finances. And it was easier. You've been disciplined for a very long time. To be disciplined and to get off is hard. Feels wrong because it's part of who you are.
It's hard. It's wrong.
No, but I get what you're saying because I can not be disciplined with food. Like, I'll be disciplined throughout the entire day when the night...
Go figure. Why?
It's because in my head, I work out hard enough to be able to treat myself at night.
Okay, that works.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I let myself go. But I have no discipline with food.
I have no discipline with working out. I bought a rebounding machine.
What is that?
The trampoline.
The trampoline. And my son uses it. So I guess...
You know what?
But I bought it because I don't have the discipline to get in my car and go somewhere. So I bought that and I planned my day and fit that in there. And a lot of the days I skip it. So it's easier to skip it than to actually do it. Generally speaking, I'm talking. Not because of your personality trait with specifically with finance.
I know, but look, it's not about the finances. Look,
let's move
no,
on.
wait. If you really want to, you're working out what? To look better.
Yeah, feel better.
Feel better.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to, skipping would feel bad.
I really want to.
Go for walks. You don't.
Go
not
for
as much.
I do go for walks with my kids and stuff. No, I walked with my daughter today for like 30 minutes.
That's good.
But this is why when you ask someone that's super disciplined, how do you stay disciplined? They don't have a real answer because it's within.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I don't want it.
Bad
I guess I look good
because
enough.
you look good enough. No, like you look good.
I know,
you feel good.
I know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But okay, how do you guys set up discipline for finances? Let's try to focus on the financial aspect of it. I know you've talked about automating some stuff, so transfers, investments, and whatever.
So I don't have to worry about my payments.
I do that automated.
Yeah.
And I joined weekly and in my TFSA.
It's the easiest way to
this is something that I have to work on. Like, I don't look at my credit card statements.
But you're not a crazy spender, I feel like.
Yeah, like
Look,
it's not like
I feel
I'm
like
crazy.
she tells you, oh, you don't need that, but then she goes out splurging.
No, depends. No, like this weekend was out of this world. I spent a lot of money on stupid shit. Well, it was my birthday.
It's your birthday
weekend. But that's...
You didn't buy anything.
Well, actually, the 2 dresses I bought, they're returning. So I'm getting my money back.
Yeah.
That's
you're getting some money.
You can get something else now.
No. I'm gonna return it. But that's one thing that I have to be more disciplined is look at my credit card statements because I don't. And on top of it, because it's automated, like
the payment.
That's why. It makes it easier to not look at it.
That's why. Yeah.
But I think looking at it, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I think looking at it is like an accountability thing. When you see, oh, really? I did that? Really? I spent on that again?
It gives me anxiety looking at my credit card statement. Like, with $20 here, $30, $50, $150, what? Parking, $30.
So that's it. It gives you that, okay, maybe I'll try to do better next month.
Yeah.
You know? It can help.
What about you?
In the beginning of the podcast, I did say I'm following in my statements and I canceled some stuff.
Oh, your subscriptions? Forget about it.
Forget about it.
You know what's the worst part is, like, I'll have Crave and I'm like, oh, there's this movie there. Oh, you have to pay for that as well. Yesterday, I was watching Prime Video. Never seen this in my life. It was there was an ad on it, and it said, click here to
go ad free.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you're paying for the subscription and there's ads in it?
Now there's ads, like YouTube.
What?
Or even there's a Netflix subscription that's cheaper that has ads.
But I don't mind the ads. It gives me time to go through my phone.
Yeah, what is that? 1 minute? Like, it's not gonna change anything.
Okay. But I was gonna say something.
I hate it.
How do you stay disciplined with finances?
So I think it's more about, for me, tracking my habits versus like tracking every dollar. I know you track every dollar, but for me, I think it's more general.
People are gonna think I'm crazy.
I think it's more general.
No, you're gonna be like motivating to others.
You're gonna be a great example to a lot of people who do not have the discipline.
Exactly, yeah, for sure, sorry.
So I think it's more about tracking my habits. Personally, I'm like an emotional spender. When I feel happy, I want to go buy something. When I feel sad, I want to go buy something. When someone else is sad, I want to buy them something. When the weather changes, I want to go buy something. So I'm an emotional spender. So when I track my habits, which is like if I sleep better, if I eat better, if I feel better, and my mind is clear, then I'm more in control of my finances. And it's all, for me, it's like big picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, but I feel like that's how I started, and then it became even deeper. And now if I'm not disciplined with my finances, I could easily lose like $7,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, I have to stay disciplined. I have to look at the everything every single day.
Yeah.
It's not something taught, I'm telling you, it's internally. You have to want it bad enough, and I can't say anything more.
Okay, good.
So that's what it is. And that's how I think for me it ties back to like emotion. More than just having goals, which is like I want this at this time, I want that at this time. It's about having a vision of what you want, that perfect Tuesday, that whatever it is.
House in the mountains.
And your vision is attached to emotion. Because I'm an emotional person.
You are?
Yeah, I have been since I had kids. You can make me cry in like 2.5 seconds.
I've never seen you cry.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a Gemini. Sorry, you're a
I am.
Gemini. I'm a Gemini too, so we're sensitive people.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I wasn't.
Oh.
I only became this way after I had my son. A lot of things
You
changed
think you
for me.
weren't sensitive, but something like
Changed.
But
when you have this vision and it becomes emotional and it becomes part of you, and if that's also what you really, really want, like I said before, there is no other option but to keep showing up, but to stay consistent. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. And I say this all the time. Just invest in yourself, show up for yourself.
Yeah.
And consistency isn't every day, isn't twice a week. It's however works for you. And like we spoke about it in our previous episode with Krista Robinson, sustainable success is the only way forward. And it's what works for you. If once a week working out is good for you, then that's good for you. It's based on the values you believe in.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Another way to to stay disciplined with finances, with money, is to use friction, is to make it annoying to spend money. For example, I deleted all my shopping ads, not ads, apps. Like the Zara on my phone, the Essence on my phone. I removed those from my phone, the app. So now, if I want to go look at something on Essence, I have to go in Safari or on my laptop. I have to log in.
Yeah.
It takes too much time. It's not like that. Just let me go check what there is and scroll and this. You know what I mean? It becomes annoying. Like, never mind. I don't want to do it anymore. So you create friction with intention. Like it's I'm intentionally doing this to spend less.
Yeah,
that's and it works.
It's kind of like distracting yourself.
Yeah.
Distracting yourself to
purchase something.
Yeah. Because like you said, it takes too much time. So you're not thinking about buying. You're thinking about, I have to download the app, go log in. Forget about it.
Exactly.
I agree.
So yeah.
Yeah, I do it all the time, but then I re-download the apps.
No, I haven't.
Whenever, sometimes you do really need to go buy something. Whenever you do buy it, just delete it back. It's intentional. It's not like unintentional. You're doing it on purpose.
Another way to stay disciplined with your finances is to write it down. To write down how much you want to save by what at a certain age. How, like for example, if you have a vision, you were talking about how your vision is tied to yourself.
Yeah.
I would say your vision is tied to what you are doing now. If you
explain that.
If you consistently put in the work you have to for that vision will come true.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, how I was talking to you guys about how I set my goals for today that will kind of have like a domino effect to my goals in the future. And it's the same thing. If you're staying disciplined today for something you're working for, that thing will happen guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it's a domino effect. So your vision is tied to what you are doing today.
That is very true. And you know what? To wrap it up a little bit, I think we should also reward consistency and like to ourselves. The little, it's all wins. It's a win that you went to Pilates for a year straight. It's a win that you still study consistently.
It's a win that you went to Costco with a checklist.
Yeah, that's a great win.
Yeah, that's a huge win.
So all of these things are important. And we could use them in our wins every week. And that's a reward. Talking about it is a reward. It doesn't, I'm not saying go buy yourself something because you did that. What I mean is acknowledging it and recognizing it for yourself. And saying cheers. Yeah, I did that.
Cheers.
Cheers, girls.
To staying disciplined, changing habit.
Subscribe, like, follow,
comment, share.
And let us know. Give us some tips on how to stay disciplined.
Yep.
See you next week.
See you next week.